Is it possible to create a comfortable environment without the help of professionals and significant costs? Believe it or not, I carried carts with crushed rocks and sand with my own hands. That's what I wanted and what I needed. The heroes of the next episode of Colors of Asia will share their secrets. Don't be afraid to dream and believe in it. In previous episodes, we talked about the art of landscape design in 3 major cities of Central Asia. We also introduced you to the work of interior designers. But those were the works of professionals, and today we decided to dedicate our program to those who create a comfortable environment with their own hands, demonstrating once again that the main thing in this matter is a desire, a little of creativity, and a little faith in yourself. Our first hero is a charismatic person. A little more than a year ago on social networks, she shared her joy that she had finally bought a private house with several acres of land. She promised that by the beginning of fall 2021, she would make a cute oasis out of this practically empty land. Well, she did. Producer and musicologist Dana Meirbekova is the head of the public fund Qurqat. She has a creative family. The success of her children always makes her happy. For example, her middle son, Akhan, was remembered by many people as one of the youngest violinists who conquered the hearts of millions not only in Kazakhstan. Currently, he works at the Mariinsky Theater in St. Petersburg under the direction of Valery Gergiev. In Dana's house, you can see a whole gallery of pictures where she and her sons are together with many outstanding people. She became the hero of the story for a reason. She always stood out for her energy, determination, a constant desire to make her life brighter and more colorful. And in this regard, Dana is a good example for many of us. Not so long ago, she bought a private house in the suburbs of Almaty, where she created a truly comfortable environment for herself and her loved ones. It was a lifelong dream to live in my own house. This is a place on the hill, and the view from it is breathtaking. You're not surrounded by anyone's gate, windows. I see mountains and only them. It is surrounded by greenery and trees. According to Dana, she immediately fell in love with this place on the hill, but there was practically nothing here except the house itself and several trees. There was even no fence. But as she says, wildness, mountain air, the murmuring river that flows nearby, everything attracted her soul that she immediately came up with a plan of how she could create paradise she always dreamed of.
Не поверите, я своими музыкальными ручками, да, таскала буквально вот эти тележки.
Believe it or not, I carried carts with crushed rocks and sand with my own hands. Maybe it's hard to believe it, but it's a fact. They say that I became slimmer and lost some weight. I'm outdoors all the time. And when you see the fruits of your labor, it's an incomparable thrill, a pleasure. Well, also, I cannot afford to hire an extra help. And on the other hand, even when you hire someone, there is no guarantee that they'll do everything well. I realized a long time ago that if you want to do something well, then do it yourself. And it's true for me. When you visit Dana, you are immediately struck by the creative approach she and her children have towards the concept of comfortable environment. As it turned out, the city residents are good at working on land. Of course, we asked Dana to show us everything and tell us more.
Вот здесь планировалось до вот этого бордюра оставить вот
It
такой
was planned to leave a green corner like a flower bed right here. For now, I have chrysanthemum and roses here. This is a pear, hibiscus, and a peony rose that is constantly blooming.
роза, которая беспрестанно цветет, в общем, очень удачно я взяла.
I was lucky enough to buy it. I think that the more flowers we have here, the better.
Жить. И вот здесь у меня помидоры. Я решила
Here I have tomatoes. I decided to use this fence for the staking. Right there I have hydrangea and peonies. I hope to plant flowers here so that they replace each other all year round.
В центре, так сказать, композиции хрен. Ну, это желтая ромашка.
And in the center of the composition are the horseradish. Well, and this is a yellow chamomile.
Веточки. И вот видите, персик какой дал урожай. Скоро уже будет.
This year we refreshed all our trees, cut off all the extra branches. And do you see what kind of crop the peach has? Soon we will enjoy the taste of our own peaches.
Но все равно вот когда с запада
Here is the northwest side of the house. I decided to grow plantain lilies. But still, when the sun comes out from the west, the ferns get burned a little. I am planning to plant some tree here. Maybe it will be a mulberry or lilac to create a shadow. Then these flowers will grow better.
лучше чувствовать.
And at this part of the courtyard, there was nothing except for several fruit-bearing trees. In a short time, these garden beds appeared here.
С этой стороны у меня как бы помидоры, как видите, да? Вот такие.
As you can see, I have tomatoes on this side. These are the perfect tomatoes, but they are more suitable for pickling, which I will soon deal with.
Вот это у меня свекла. Давайте я вам.
This is a red beet.
Вот. Представляете?
Let me show you. Here it is. Imagine planting a little seed, and this kind of beet grows out of it. Of course, all kinds of herbs, cilantro, which I love, and dill. Here is basil. There I have pepper, eggplant, and strawberry, cucumbers, pumpkin, and broccoli. And I recently dug up the remains of a radish.
Брокколи и редисочку вот выкопала недавно остатки. Всю жизнь.
All my life, I dreamt of eating vegetables and fruits from my own garden. And now this dream has come true. You know, it's so nice.
Мечта осуществилась. Это, знаете, так приятно.
Tyrrell Kazakh yurts are a special pride of the owners. Nowadays, not everyone can afford such a luxury because first of all, it's quite expensive, and second of all, it requires certain skill and knowledge to properly maintain them.
Вот эта юрта, она, видите, такая.
This one is an authentic yurt. The spell dries quickly, even if there is a heavy rain.
Даже когда идет сильный дождь, он промокает, но очень быстро почему-то высыхает.
And here we laid reeds on the floor. It's made based on the technology of our ancestors.
То есть она сделана полностью по технологии наших предков.
Shanurak, everything as it should be. And here are a few layers of reeds. Then a thick and coarse felt is above.
Войлок. Идет толстый такой грубый войлок.
And then tikimet, korpe, and all that. Well, come on in.
Ну, проходите.
This is a chimbai yurt. Anyone who is aware what it is knows that these are real yurts that are made of rest haro. They are distinguished by their strength and durability. When it was assembled, I was told that it even has a bond beam. Everything is done according to nomadic technology.
Все сделано по технологии кочевников. Вот это вот тускиизы.
This is duskias. In Karakalpakia, they use it at the bottom, and Kazakhs use it on top.
Находятся в этой юрте текиметы.
Everything inside the yurt, tikimet, carpets, and alasha, are ancient. It's antiques.
То есть это уже антиквариат.
People wonder where do I find these things, but interestingly enough, all these things somehow find me.
Каким-то чудесным образом.
What is the Kazakh yurt without a chest? It's always interesting to look inside and find out what is there.
Раритетных.
Dana was more than happy to show us. These are rare tuskias embroidered by Kazakhs from Mongolia and China.
Вот смотрите, какая красота.
Look, what a beauty. How much information is stored here. Every ornament means something. Why there is something incomplete on the tuskis? Because every circle represents a family. And so that the family is not interrupted, here they never finish the composition. Dana often receives guests in her yurts. Once they are in this atmosphere, they get a real pleasure. Our ancestors invented an amazing know-how. It's being reborn right now. And I'm happy that I have my own yurts where we can receive guests. That yurt is more like a museum, and this one will be more for guests, because I want to lie down and relax. There's a platform, and here are reeds. You can lie down here and get power from the earth.
А здесь вот камыш, да, и прям вот полежать именно вот эту силу от земли, да, как бы получить. Ну вот разве могла я в городе мечтать о таком удовольствии?
Could I dream of such a pleasure in the city? Drink tea from a samovar on the wood fire? Now there is such a state of catharsis when you completely merge with nature, when every day you see the fruits of your labor. Here is a little landscape design experience. Friends gave me this blue spurs as a gift. Well, I planted different plants around. I did not know these names before. Ninebark, juniper, and now, not only do I plant it myself, I also enjoy these fruits. This is the yurt which we set first. As I mentioned before, it's on the platform. Come on in. The right side of the yurt, from the entrance to the left, is the male side. Here I have a rare, very valuable saddle trimmed with silver. It's an antique. Here's a harness. Well, all the batir supplies. This jack is also very old. This is korзhen, which was hung on a horse or on a camel, and people transported some things in it. This yurt is really like a small ethnographic museum, which has various things that characterize the life of our ancestors, and Dana knows almost everything about every subject. All these decorations have ornaments. They're a kind of protection for the yurt. Every ornament means something. And here at the center is a bed that I ordered. It's made of wood. I also wanted to show you these things. It is an asatayak. Here are some things that shamans used to keep evil spirits away. And here is an old biesek. It's about 100 years old. It is urshak. It means wheel. It was used to make yarn. This is kilya. It was used to make butter or to mix kumis. Here they made something like talkan, utara. It is tursak. Such liquids as kumis and shubat was transported in them. This year, Dana is celebrating her Jubilee year, and she's happy because she knows what spiritual comfort is and how to create it. I feel that the older I get, the faster my wishes come true. Don't be afraid to dream and believe in it. And if your dreams do not harm anyone, I think they will come true. I dreamt of living in my house at 60. I'm about to celebrate my Jubilee year, and I already live in my own house, and I have 2 yurts, the bathhouse, the garden. And what else does a person need for happiness?
Огородик, сад. А что еще нужно человеку для счастья?
Now we will talk about one of the old apartment buildings in the center of Uzbek capital. Until a certain time, it was not particularly remarkable and did not differ much from other similar buildings in Tashkent. But at some point, it suddenly became famous. Today, it is one of the most iconic landmarks of the city. And all thanks to the efforts of our next hero and his neighbors, who together managed to create an extraordinary art space. However, first things first. While some people are knocking on doors of different authorities with a request to make repairs at their entrance and on the residential territory, others are arranging the space around them on their own, embodying their own amazing ideas and fantasies. For example, Vlad Zamanov, who knows what it means to not expect help from anyone and to save money while creating maximum comfort in an apartment building. I'm a designer, decorator. I've been engaged in interior design for more than 23 years. I work in the field of home textiles, decoration. Fortunately, I managed to work in different countries, learn different mentalities, see different interiors, touch the art and culture of different countries. I really like to travel. I tried to bring something from abroad here and bring something from here to other countries. One of the entrances of this famous house in Tashkent is not only distinguished by its beauty and comfort. Fashion shows of local and foreign designers, parties, performances are constantly held here. Different festivals, exhibitions are held in the courtyard. And during the celebration of Nowruz and Easter, a large table is set here. I bought an apartment in this house for a reason. I was intentionally interested in this house because there are high ceilings, neighbors have been living here for a long time, they know each other, there's some special atmosphere. I would say there is a charming atmosphere here. There are tall trees. From the side of Amir Timur Avenue, we have oaks that were planted at the beginning of the 20th century. It's very calm and very quiet. That's exactly what I wanted and what I needed. House number 45 was designed in 1927 by the famous architect Georgy Svarichevsky, who once moved here from St. Petersburg. When my apartment was renovated, I realized that the entrance also leaves room for improvement, and the neighbors helped me because they did not interfere. They endured all this dust and dirt because plaster was all over here for 40 days. From absolutely Soviet-style entrance, we turned it into a beautiful one. Why do I say we? Because the neighbors helped a lot. Not financially, but they helped me in whatever way they could. They took care of the garbage disposal, some household things, technical moments. They contributed to this. I know of a story that when in St. Petersburg, Artemy Lebedev, a designer, tried to make renovation in his building, he faced a negative attitude from his neighbors. Many were against it. Fortunately, there is no such thing in Tashkent. It seems to me that Khachar culture, the culture of improving the space around, in its essence, is very close to Uzbek people. When you enter this entrance, it feels like you are in another world. Everything charms and impresses you. High-quality, tasteful renovation, colors, atmosphere of luxury, created thanks to antique things, paintings, mirrors, flowers, and beautiful vases. I was always interested in ancient architecture and old houses, which have extraordinary entrances. I was crazy about the idea of such beautiful, luxurious entrances because we often make very beautiful interior designs inside apartments, but we don't think much about what surrounds us outside. We take a step into a completely different space, and often this step is made in a not very beautiful place. And of course, I wanted to bring something like that to my house. A few years ago, I came up with the idea of renovating my entrance, or rather, not so much to renovate, but to create a story in the style of Belle Époque. In Paris, I saw many beautiful entrances with beautiful coverings, carpets, chandeliers, extraordinary furniture, vases, flowers. This inspired me. I wanted to do something like that in Tashkent and recreate history. I managed to find magnificent bronze handles in Istanbul in the flea market. I bought a very beautiful crystal handle from Vienna. It now decorates the front door. We have an interesting wall lamp, which I also found in Vienna. Mirrors, glass, some things are handmade. Chandeliers, curtains are all from my workshop, but this is not the most important thing. The most important thing here is the perfect brick on the walls. When we removed the plaster, we were surprised how perfect the masonry was. According to the academician, the seismologist who made a technical examination for us, architects should study the methods of construction of the early 20th century on this masonry and should build like this. It's a special masonry, lime mortar, and brick at that time was produced of an ideal form. It's very even. Even large railings have been preserved here. They're original. There are cast iron fences. There are frames that we restored. The most interesting thing is that encaustic tile has also been preserved for more than 90 years. By his example, Vlad wants to convey a lot. First of all, that ancient architecture may look completely different and be a center of attraction for tourists. Second of all, if you have a desire to decorate your life and make it comfortable, do not expect a miracle. Just act, and you can do it. Just a year ago, an online website published an article about an amazing person who lives in Bishkek. To be honest, this information immediately attracted the attention of our creative team. Then we decided that one day this person should definitely become one of the heroes of our program. Why? Because he's full of kindness, sincerity, and humanity. President of Bishkek, Sagit Sulaimanov, proved that if desired, anyone can create a comfortable environment. Moreover, everywhere. To do this, the only thing you need is a desire and a pure heart. So he turned the courtyard of an ordinary high-rise building in one of the districts of the Kyrgyz capital into a real garden. He planted flowers and trees, fashioned unusual bird feeders and squirrels with his own hands, built a gazebo where now on holidays all residents of the house have tea parties and barbecues. Sagit has been in business all his life, and to work on land and create this beauty around is his hobby. He recalls how 10 years ago he came to Bishkek from a long trip and went into this courtyard. The picture was terrifying, and from an abandoned state, it was simply hard to watch. There was dirt around, dead trees and trash. His heart ached when he saw all that. And there was a strong desire to fix everything. Gradually, he managed to turn this courtyard into a place for rest.
Здесь свалка такая была, мусор. Тут вот даже с домов бросали.
There was such a dump here, trash everywhere. People even threw it out of their windows, and dogs, cats took it all away. It was terrible. And then those who have children of school and preschool age offered to make a playground. We have 2 playgrounds. Let's make the third, I said. Even though my children have already grown up, I have grandchildren, and I say, I'm happy to join you, but it should be a playground which can compete with modern one. It must have a safe surface and workout zone for adults. And they said, that's a great idea. I offered to raise money in order for us to install such a playground. Unfortunately, active discussion was just a pay lip service. The neighbors immediately forgot about everything. And then Sagit decided that it makes no sense to hope for someone and took action. Almost everything in this yard today he made himself out of available materials. Sometimes one of his close friends came to his aid.
Начал перекапывать там, что-то сажать. Когда копал эти камни, тут очень много камней.
I planted something here, dug out something there. When I was digging those stones, and there were a lot of stones, I decided to put them somewhere. I put them into the track. So there is a path now. There is a lot of firewood here, because when there is a heavy snowfall in spring, wet trees fall and so much dead wood was cut off. When I first arrived, the first thing I made was irrigation ditches. They were littered. The channel is 50 meters away, no problem with watering. These trees are 40-50 years old, and no one needs it. I made an irrigation canal system. I put trays. Of course, my neighbors looked at it as if I was crazy. Their trucks, a crane and workers, poles and lightings were being installed. They say to me, "Where are you from? Why is it here?" I say, "I don't know how you lived here before. There is no light, no water. Although here you can illuminate everything." I put 4 pillars and lighting, and the irrigation canal, thanks to which everything is watered here by a mountain river.
Рык провел и поливается теперь горной водой хорошей.
Today, this courtyard has conditions for both children and adults. For example, such a gazebo is necessary, first of all, for older people.
Я говорю, что у пожилых людей нет такой возможности куда-то выезжать на природу.
I say that older people do not have such an opportunity to go to countryside. And so I say that all older people should come here and relax in this park.
Есть авто, они могут сесть.
Young people have cars. They can go to the mountains with their children, to the countryside, have fun there and relax. And the elderly do not have such an opportunity. So I would like to make such an area so that they can relax here and enjoy the fresh air.
Отдыхать, наслаждаться воздухом хорошим.
Sagit Sulaimanov is sure that every person is able to create beauty and comfort around him. The only thing required is desire. The important thing is to love it, to think about people, not to count who did more and who did less.
Я хочу сказать, что надо создавать красоту вокруг себя и создавать уют, чтобы люди могли...
I mean, you have to create beauty around you so that people can also create and build comfort around themselves. Not to destroy, but to build. Do everything possible what you're capable of. After all, everyone has unlimited opportunities and potential. Let them try to bring at least simple things and cleanliness. It's a pleasure for you and others. Someone wants to plant some bush or flower. This makes it much easier to look after the things you have in the area where you live.
Какой-то просто декоративный кустик. Тоже будет приятно ухаживать и как-то озеленять в то место, где ты проживаешь непосредственно.
Our hero is convinced that if taking care of the surroundings becomes a habit for many adults, then it will benefit the younger generation too.
Мне хотелось бы, конечно, с одной стороны, чтобы это вот довести это до порядка, до полного, до совершенства какого-то.
I would like to bring this to perfection. Both children and adults can use this, and they could get involved in this work, something pleasant and useful.
Приятному, к полезному, сами, может быть, что-то здесь в конечном итоге тоже начнут помогать, что-то делать, созидать.
Adults themselves may begin to help here, build something. I would be happy to give them tips. They might have something to offer themselves. I'll support them.
С удовольствием поддержу и можно будет...
This will help parents build a positive image in front of their kids.
Потому что, мои дети уже насмотрелись этого всего.
My children saw what I did. Being in Dagestan, we gathered with the whole family to do something.
С мужем прилетела в Дагестан. Сын у меня живет в Дагестане с семьей.
Now my daughter and her husband live in the Emirates.
И вот все мы собрались там.
My son lives with his family in Dagestan and have 6 grandchildren.
Видела, что на пляже не совсем чисто.
My daughter went to the beach, and when she saw that it was dirty, she did not say anything. The next day, when I saw rakes and a bunch of sleeves in hallway, I said, "What are you going to do?" And she said, "I'm going to clean the beach. There's such a mess." She posted about it on social networks, and they all went and cleaned half of the beach.
И вышли, они там пол пляжа убрали.
We asked Sagit if he had realized all his ideas. From the answer, we learned that he's not going to stop there. In the near future, he plans to lay a lawn throughout the courtyard and then bring everything to perfection. Actually, there are many ideas. The only thing remains is to implement them.
Дорогие друзья, как вы
As you understand, a comfortable environment can be created with your own hands. The main thing is to have a desire and a creative use. You have watched Colors of Asia. See you next time.